Testing. In today's tutorial, we're going to be creating this particular music visualizer. We've created fake audio music visualizers before, but today we're going to be using F-curves to actually make these bars react to the frequencies of whatever music you want. This is going to be part one of a series where we do many different effects using these F-curves, so definitely be sure to check those out as well. And with that, let's actually begin this tutorial. In our default scene, the first thing that we want to do is press tab to go into edit mode and press GZ to bring this up by 1 unit. That way, the origin of the cube comes right to the base over there. Now we can press SZ 0.1 to scale it down to 0.1 units. After which we can add in a bevel modifier by going to the modifier properties over here and selecting add modifier bevel. Now if you actually look at it, the bevel is not going to look nice because we haven't applied scale. So we'll press Ctrl A and choose apply scale. Now we can reduce the amount from 0.1 to 0.05 and we'll just increase the number of segments to something like 4 or 5 to make it nice and smooth. But to make it even smoother, we'll go to object, set shade smooth. And that way we get this really nice brick that's going to act as one single block for our animation stack. Next, we'll add in another array modifier. And this time, instead of having it on the x-axis, we're going to press 0 and tap 1.1 on the z-axis, and that way we get it up like this, and we're essentially going to be animating this count based on the sound or frequencies of the sound that we're using. So we're going to keep it at 1 and then we'll just tap I to add in a singular keyframe. Now we'll set all of our animation defaults, and it's necessary that you do this before the next steps. So we'll go to our output properties and change the frame rate to whatever you want. If you want it to be 60 frames per second, choose it right now. So I'm going to choose 30 frames per second, and the frame range we can change based on the actual audio. So we'll keep this at the default for now, and the rest of it doesn't matter. But for the sake of it, since we're here, we're just going to choose the output folder and file format FFmpeg video. Encoding, we're going to change from Matroska to MPEG-4, and output quality, I'm going to choose perceptually lossless. But remember, because we want to output the sound as well, we're going to have to choose the audio from no audio to something like MP3 or whatever works for you. I'm going to keep it at MP3 and the default settings should be fine. Now for the actual F curves, we're going to bring our cursor to the junction of these two windows, click and drag to create a new window, and then change this from the 3D viewport to the graph editor. In the graph editor, we're going to select this count keyframe that we have. Remember, you have to have the object selected for the keyframe to appear. And then in many versions of Blender, I've seen it to be present under key, but based on what I can see, you have to go to channel, and under channel you'll find bake sounds to F curve. If you can't find it under channel, under key you will find the bake sound to F curve. Either way, I'm going to go to channel and select bake sound to F curve and choose the audio file that I want. So once I've selected the audio file, change the frequencies based on what frequency band you want for that particular stack. So remember, the audible frequencies for humans is 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz or 20 kilohertz. So the first band will go from 20 to something like 100, which are essentially the very base frequencies. So now we can click bake sound to F curves, and instantly you should be able to see some variations occurring at some point in the actual curve. So we can see it's happening all the way over here, but they're still very low. So if we zoom in as well, the highest value that it's going to is 2. So we're just going to get another stack. So to change this to have many more of these, we're going to have to go to the modifier panel over here and click add modifier and choose envelope. Then back on frame 0, we're going to click add control point and change these to actually extend this height. So let's make this something like -35 and change this to +35. And that way you can see that we now get much more variation on these, and the max value that we're getting in certain areas are approximately this value over here. So if we zoom in, we can see that it's going above 60, which means we're going to get more than 60 of these stacks present. So I think that's a little too high. So I'm going to change the control points again, maybe make it -15 to +15. And that way now the max number that's getting added in is about 30 or slightly less than 30, which is good enough. So if you were to actually play this animation around this region, you'll be able to see how it reacts to the actual sound. To be able to hear the sound, you're going to have to switch this to the video sequencer and then click add sound and choose the same audio file. Make sure that you change the start frame to 0 as well, and then click add sound strip. Now at any point of time when you just play the animation, you should be able to hear it as well. Now, I'm not sure if you're able to hear it because I've kept the gain very low, but you should be able to hear it. The last time I recorded this tutorial, the gain was too high and you couldn't hear anything but the music when I spoke. So I kept the gain low, but I'm not sure if it's loud enough for you to hear, but it should be fine. Next, we'll go back to the graph editor and you can see that the main base is coming in over here. But if you try to play the animation there, it doesn't work. And that's because the frame range ends at 250. So we're going to have to go and see where the last frame is. So this is occurring where this little X mark is, which is around frame 4322. So we can change the end frame to 4322. And now we can play any part of the song without having any issues. So hopefully you can hear that right now the sound is very low. And as soon as the sound goes high, even this goes up just like that as well. Now, of course, the song doesn't consist of only bass frequencies. So we're gonna go back to frame 0 and then press Shift DX and just move it by 3 units so that it comes to the side. Of course, you don't have to go for 3 entire units. You can go to something like this as well so that they're much closer. It completely depends on your preference. But once you've moved it to where you want it to be, again, channel, bake sounds to F curves, choose the same song, and make sure that you now change the lowest frequency to the highest frequency that it was before. So the lowest frequency is going to become 100 and highest frequency, I'll go with 1000 this time, and I'll click bake sounds to F curves, and then you'll see you get a different distribution. Next, I'll press Shift DX, move it to the side, again, channel, bake sounds to F curves. This time, the lowest frequency is going to be 1000 and highest frequency is going to be 2000, and then bake sounds to F curves. Then again, Shift DX, bring it to the side, channel, bake sounds to F curves, 2000 to maybe 20,000 or 10,000. Bake sounds to F curves, and then again Shift DX, move it to the side and do it for 10,000 to 20,000. Once you've baked all of these sounds to F curves, you can just play a portion of the animation to see that it's working. And you might not want to keep hearing the sound again and again. So for that, you can go to the playback and choose mute over here, and that way you can play through it without it continuously playing as well. Apart from that, if you want to actually hear the sound as you move this playhead across without actually playing the animation, you can switch on audio scrubbing and switch off mute, and that way as you move this, you'll be able to hear this audio. Although it isn't that great of an audio scrubbing feature, it's a little wonky as you can hear right now, but it's gonna be good enough to give you an idea of exactly where you are in the song. The next thing that you have to do is make sure that you change the sync to audio, and that way when you play back the animation, it'll play at the correct speed to match up with whatever audio you have. So that's perfectly all right, and that's actually all there is for the animation. The next portion is the scene setup. So let's go ahead and press Shift A and search for a mesh plane, which is going to act as our floor. So we can just scale it up by something like 100, and then we can select the camera, press Alt G to clear location, Alt R to clear rotation, followed by RX 90 to rotate it on the x-axis by 90 degrees. Then GX can move it to the side, and then GY can move it back, and then press 0 on your numpad to go into your camera view, and then go to the camera properties over here and change the focal length down to something like 18 millimeters to make it much more wide angle. Then press GZ to bring it up, and that should be good enough. Once you're happy with the positioning of everything, select your light and switch it over to an area lamp, and press Alt R to clear rotation and Alt G to clear location, followed by GX, and then bring it to the center of your setup. Then press GZ to bring it up, and also switch your viewport over to rendered so that you can actually see how the light is. Now I'll press S to just make it a lot larger, and then I'll press Shift D, RX 90, so that we get another version that's pointed forward, but right now it's there present right between these columns. So I'll press GY and bring it in front just like that. So now that you have this well lit, you can go to your world properties and change the background all the way to black and start with the texturing of each of these materials. So first let's select the cube, and because we use the default cube, all of these have the default material attached to them. So we can bring this window a bit larger and change it from the graph editor to the shader editor, and then zoom in and play around with the base colors. So I want this color to change based on the height. So I want it to maybe be greenish at the bottom and reddish at the top. So I'll press Shift A and search for a texture coordinate node. Now, if we Control Shift click with the node wrangler, you can see what the object coordinate looks like. And that's not what we want. We want it to be a gradient only on the Z axis. So we'll press Shift A and search for a separate XYZ node and plug that in right here. And then if we switch over to Z, you should be able to see a gradient that goes from 0 to 1. But the problem is it goes beyond 1 as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to press Shift A and search for a map range node and plug that in after the Z. And by changing this from max value, we can control where the 0 and 1 ends. So I'll press Shift and search for a color ramp node so that we can control the actual colors, and maybe this black slider I'll change to a reddish value or a greenish value, and this white I'll change to a reddish value. Now when I play the animation, as it goes up, we should be able to see the red. So if you feel like this red area is getting too abrupt, again just change this from max, and that way it'll smoothen out the gradient as well. So I think something like that should be good enough. And now I can plug this into the base color and then Control Shift click the principled BSDF to actually view the colors. Apart from that, I'm going to make the metallic all the way to 1 and reduce the roughness down to 0.3 to make it nice and shiny. Then I'll select my base plane and I'll go to my render properties and switch on bloom and screen space reflections. Then with my base plane selected, I'll add in a new material and change the base color all the way to black, but I'll also make it very much metallic and I'll reduce the roughness down to maybe 0.2. That way we get these nice reflections and you can switch off overlays and see what it looks like. Now I feel like there needs to be much more light coming from in front, so I'll select select light 001, go to the properties and increase the power to something like 10,000, and I'll reduce the roughness of the floor down to 0.1, and the light on top as well, I'll just press GY and bring it in front just like that. So that's actually all there is to creating this sort of an animation. So once you're happy with everything, you can go ahead and press render animation. This was just the basis to many other effects that we will be touching upon in future videos. The idea of F-curves and baking sounds to the F-curves is very powerful because it doesn't have to be just the number in the array. You could have animated the scaling as well as the location or anything like that to create various effects. We will be using this within simulation nodes and other particle systems to create even cooler music visualizers, and we'll see how to optimize those as well. So if you're into all of that, be sure to stay tuned and check out other videos on my channel until those videos come out. I post videos every single day, so there's definitely something that's waiting to be discovered by you. So until then, thank you so much for watching, keep creating, and don't forget to stay creative.